Okay. Greetings, everyone. My name is YoNasDa Lone Wolf. I am here with another weekly Black Woman Divine of the Week. And I am so honored to be here as we are highlighting and supporting and empowering Black women that are divine and for in honor of Breonna Taylor and so many others that have been murdered unjustly by this system. And so the month of March is Black Lives Matter grassroots campaign of Black Women Are Divine. And I'm so honored to be with my sister, Valencia. Miss B, what we call her, and she is in South Florida, a phenomenal organizer. I mean, when we're talking about someone that is boots on the ground on organizing, not just around voting, but mostly important around climate injustice. Even when it comes down to bringing people together, all organizations together to get on one accord, which is very, very difficult. I met Miss B when it was the hurricane, one of the hurricanes,
Irma.
um, Irma,
Mhm.
when we was doing hip hop for Florida, and it was hip hop for the people because it was Houston, Florida, and the Caribbean. So we had to mobilize three locations, and right when I got there, immediately everyone said there's only one person that knows how to mobilize everyone together, and that is Miss V. So I am so happy that we are going to honor you this month for Black Women Are Divine. In the past, that I mean, you amongst greats in the past has been Angela Davis and so many others that have been Kimberly Latrice Jones, who's another movement sister of mine. But we're going to honor you this month, this year, for Black Women Are Divine. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So you are the founder of Smile Trust Incorporated. So I want to, you know what, and we're going to make this very impersonal because of the fact that there are certain things that I'm still learning about you. And
Mhm.
one thing I never learned and knew was how did you get your beginnings, like in regards to organizing?
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, I'm Valencia Gunder. Most folks just call me V or Miss V. Also have been dubbed the modern day Fannie Lou Hamer here in South Florida. And I have the privilege and the pleasure to serve as the founder and co-director of the Smile Trust, the executive director of the Black Collective, and the lead mad scientist at the Freedom Lab, which I'm quite sure we're going to talk about all of that today.
Yeah.
Um, I feel as if I cut my teeth organizing watching my father. So
Mm,
back in the 90s, I was born in the mid 80s, grew up in the 80s and the 90s in Liberty City, Miami. For those who are not familiar with that, I do not come from the beach. I am on the other side of the causeway on the inland where the working class people live. Um, and Liberty City, Miami is probably the story of a thousand tongues from, Black communities across the United States, especially the crack epidemic, post civil rights movement, post Black Power movement, and all the things that were happening in our communities. And my parents were victims of that political project of America. Both of my parents were addicted. And I always like to start by saying both of my parents are clean, baby, yes, fully recovered
yes.
and community serving. But my father got clean when I was about 11 or 12. And
Mm,
my father immediately came back to Miami fully clean. And he was really active and still is to this day in the NA programming, right? And my
yeah.
father would go to the NA meetings. And I just like, I'm a daddy's girl still to this day.
Hmm.
So I used to go to the NA meetings with my father. It used to be at this park called Tacosi Park in Liberty
Hmm.
City on 62nd Street. And the kids would be outside playing, so I would be outside playing. My dad would be inside of the meetings, but I would, start watching my father, and my father would actually get there early to set up the chairs and to like put the books in place and the chips and everything, and make sure the coffee was brewed and everything, the sign-in sheets. And I used to help him. I'm like, Daddy, I'll put the sheets out and everything and all the stuff. And then
Hmm.
on Saturdays, my father would take me to the Camilla's house, which is a shelter for unsheltered folks here in
Hmm.
Miami-Dade County. And at the time I was just having fun. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pass out these cookies because that's what I was wanting to do. And I was just
Uh-huh.
having fun. Like my father would always get me in the midst of doing that. And I mean, I just took a liking to it. And at first it was just all fun. Like I was just like, oh, this feels good. I'm being able to
Yeah.
talk to all these people. I'm a social butterfly naturally. So I would just be
Mhm.
around them. But my father was an organizer. My father
Mhm.
still organized a lot of the NA meetings. My father is a counselor and somebody that's in the NA community very heavy still, and he
Yeah.
takes a lot of pride in that. And my mom now is in recovery and doing some of the same similar work. And I feel as if like that's the first time I remember being in an organizing space, right? Watching people get
Yeah.
to recovery. And I'm so happy that that's where I feel like my heart was touched to be in organizing because our
Yeah.
people were struggling really really bad in that moment, and for our people to find power to recovery and to find a community and builds right in the community where they were in their addiction was beautiful to
Mhm.
see. I'm able to put a lot of words to it now, but as a child I didn't have the words. But my dad was going to
Yeah.
the NME and I was right there, like let's go, and things
Yeah.
like that. I would just would see like how they would hug each other and be in community with each other. And like when they was having struggling times, like my dad would get calls 1, 2 in the morning when a person was struggling in their addiction. And that sometimes I used to be like, why are people calling? But eventually I understood what it was. They were organized people fighting to build power and fight against a system of oppression and drug and harm
Mhm.
and things like that. And I give a lot of credit to my organizing energy to my father because he
Mhm.
exposed me to so much, and I did not know what he was exposing me to until I started doing it, and I got
Mhm.
older. But in my older age, I feel as if I was organizing on FAMU's campus. I
Mm.
started doing sandwich bags and stuff like that to
Yeah.
unshelter people there, and
Yeah.
I also did a lot of work during the first earthquake that went super, national in Haiti in 2010. I
Yes.
watched the news. And, I'm from Miami. I'm from Liberty City.
Mhm.
Little Haiti is right next door. So I grew
Mhm.
up with so many Haitian friends. Like my upbringing has everything to do with a fusion of Haitian and Caribbean culture. My family's Bahamian and things like that. And to hear the news call the people of Haiti all these things, showing the bodies
Mm.
of our people that transition. Like I was like, this is so inhumane. And I'm like, I'm a
Yeah.
pro college student, so what can I do? And I
Yes.
just, like, I'm gonna collect donations. And at the time this was so big for me, but I brought 2 big U-Hauls of stuff from my apartment in Tallahassee down to Miami to
Wow.
the Church of Notre Dame in Little Haiti. And I felt
Yeah.
so good. I felt so good. I wasn't looking for
Yeah.
any thanks. I would
Yeah.
never meet the people that we supported during that time. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
All I knew was that this supplies is going to make it to some people and then they're going to get some help for the things that they needed in that moment. And I was a part of humanizing and supporting these people, which was a contradiction that I was struggling with hearing the news in America talk about our brothers and sisters in Haiti.
Yeah. That was my first time, that earthquake in Haiti, when I did hip hop for Haiti.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so we didn't even know each other, but we both was impacted by seeing that. And then fast forward when it hit when the hurricane hit Miami, that's how we met with hip hop for the people. So,
Mm.
what was were you nervous, like when you first started, like with just getting these U-Hauls and doing it, and then after that I know it had to be a rippling effect for you. I mean, what did you have these moments of like, man, like how am I going to do this? Or I know for myself I've had moments of insecurity as an organizer, you know.
Still to this day. Still to this day.
Mm,
Years later,
wow.
you could be
Yeah.
knee deep in it and you're like, man, I have to finish this task.
Yeah.
I was so broke doing that relief for Haiti in 2010. It was crazy. I ended up being homeless myself right after that, and then incarcerated right after that. Like all in
Wow.
2010, all of that happened in 2010, and
Yeah.
me facing all the insecurities I was facing, of course. But one thing I am a big believer in is people power.
Mm,
Like the
yeah.
people were showing up. Like I went from just me and my friends gathering stuff to like the whole FAMU community and like FSU community, and everybody standing up. And then people started sending donations and things like that. And I got the connection with the Church of Notre Dame. And then the church was like, if y'all need help with getting stuff down here, we can help you. And I just leaned in on community. And I feel as if that's still my same tactic. Like when I feel nervous, when I feel like this thing is not going to, people believe in your vision and you should also believe in their power. And I feel as if that's like what I did. Like always what I did. And then, sometimes our movement can be a little competitive and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I was like, I'm not Haitian. I don't know if people would be upset because I'm doing this or whatnot. And at
Yeah.
one point in time, I felt like I needed to get permission to do my work. And it was a
Mm,
Haitian elder was like, you don't need to get permission to build power for your people. You're not Haitian,
mm,
but you're a part of this diaspora, and Haiti is your community too. And that's
yeah.
all I need to hear. And I never have asked for permission to serve my people ever again.
Mm. And I like that you said that because I came down to Miami to get permission from you and the people in Miami. So, I do think but that's great that they was able to like, yeah, you're good. Smile Trust. How did you get it? How did you even start Smile Trust?
Yeah, so I was unsheltered 2010. Um, and then in my incarceration, right after that, I was hearing these women talk about, serving and things like that. Because when I was incarcerated, it dispelled all of the things that I think about women who were incarcerated. Like it dispelled every myth. Because these women were brilliant. They were mothers, they were daughters, sisters, entrepreneurs, wives, all these things. And they actually loved on me in a very, very good way. Like I think they felt the need to protect me. And I'm so grateful for every woman that I came in contact with as I was being extradited across the state of Florida. But it was on the TV inside of the jail in the women detention center here in Miami-Dade County. It was like this show came on and it was showing these guys who were just like popping up on unsheltered folks in New York, and they would just like give them a meal and some clothes and stuff like that. And they was like, long as they smile, long as
Yeah.
they smile. And I was like, that's so
Wow.
dope. Like, long as they smile, they kept using the word smile. Like, that's what it was worth, your smile. And I was like, when I get out of here, I'm going to do something just like that. And honestly, I was going to do it one time. And I actually came out of my incarceration at the end of 2010. And I actually had to do 2 years on paper. It took me some time to like get myself together, build myself up, after facing being unsheltered in incarceration back to back. It takes a lot of building blocks. But as soon as I had it to do it, I saved up my little ducats for my job and
Yeah.
called some friends up in 2014. And I was like, I want to do this thing. And I was like, I just want to do it one time because I promised myself when I was incarcerated that I was going to do it. And I did it one time, and it felt so good to all of us who went out there. About 25 people showed up.
Mm,
I posted it on Facebook at the time, and everybody showed up. And we fed about 75 people brown paper bags,
yeah.
sandwiches, and we had some fruit and them little peanut butter crackers and some bottles of water. That's all we had. And I mean, all the volunteers was like, when we coming back? When we coming back? And I'm like, ooh, I was coming for one time. And 10
Yeah.
years later, I'm still going. I'm still going.
Wow.
And it's something that still to this day, I feel as if it's a labor of love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it actually restores me, especially now that I'm in movement and I do so many different types of work. Still going out there, engaging with unsheltered folks, still make me very full. It refuels me every single time.
Wow. And I was honored to help, work with you and volunteer with you and just see just how happy everyone was, I mean, smiling and just even how happy you are. We was giving out, after it wasn't no more brown paper bags. It was like hot meals. Like we was giving
Oh
out
yeah,
some
baby.
hot meals. You
The
had
big
like a
team
chef
now.
come. Yep.
The big
I
team
was like,
now. Yeah,
yep. Yeah, and I think I ate the food too. I mean, it was so
yeah. It was
phenomenal.
it be good now. Because if we don't
Uh-huh.
eat it at our house, we don't feed it to our family. We don't feed it to the community.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
One of the things I've always admired about you, sis, is that the way that you view um, where we should be as a people. The way that your insight on how to organize is so much different. I've been around so many amazing organizers, but the
Mhm.
way you see it is from a different point of view that I've always admired. And and I'm getting to this point, it was we're in COVID and we're quarantining, and you hit me up and you said, sis, while we are in, while we're quarantining, we need to be organizing. We need to be putting together a game plan. We need to be putting together agenda. We need to be reaching out to other leadership and having conference calls. And everyone was literally at home. But she was like, this is a great opportunity for us to organize. And whatever you foresaw, because Ahmaud Arbery didn't get murdered at that time,
Mhm.
but you already, George Floyd didn't get murdered at that time. Breonna Taylor didn't get murdered at that time. But you foresaw something in regards to an opportunity for us to begin to really strategize and organize and not just be in the streets, but to organize. And when I just recently saw you in Miami and to see that game plan that you was like, okay, whoever's around me, if they ain't moving fast enough, I'm about to put this on paper and I'm about to do this. And you created the Freedom Lab. And the
Mhm.
Freedom Lab is a one-stop shop for anyone that is watching. Follow her, follow the Freedom Lab. When you're in Miami, any resources, whatever you have, go to the Freedom Lab. It literally is a one stop shop for our people in regards to healthcare, in regards to movement building, youth, and mentorship. I mean, so many. You have a health clinic, like you have a garden. It's a one stop shop. What made you think of that and to do it? Because we have these ideas, but in regards to what made you like, you know what, I'm going to put this all on pause. I'm not going to be in the streets protesting. I'm
Mhm.
going to organize and do this.
Yeah. So one, I have shut down many highways and
Yeah,
byways. You know what I'm saying? I did it, and it's a need for it. It's a need for
yeah,
that work too. And also, when I look at organizing, I look at it in a two-pronged approach. You have contested power from the state, and then you have models of self-determination, right? And oftentimes, organizers focus on contested power from the state. A black man is murdered in the street. We're pissed off, and we want to get justice, right? And we deserve that justice. We deserve
yes,
that justice. And also, what do we have for ourselves when nobody want to give us nothing, right? And
mhm,
that's what I think about self determination. So a few things came up, right? I feel like I learned from so many different people, from different cultures, religions, and everything. Like I just pull and pluck and things like that. Like I'm like a sponge of sorts. And
yeah,
I feed people. I feed
yeah,
people. I feel food is the most universal thing, okay? Because
yeah,
I have not
mhm,
met a human being who could live without eating. Like unless
yeah,
somebody I don't know, but most everybody needs food and water, right?
yeah,
And during COVID, I was reading a lot of books like medical apartheid. I was reading because I was like, when was the last time the world went through a pandemic? Not an epidemic, a pandemic, and that was in the 1920s with the Spanish flu.
yeah,
And I was like, what were Black communities doing? Who
mm,
was around? The Garveyite movement was around, right? All these things. And
yeah,
what were they doing?
yeah,
He was marching
yeah,
nurses through the street. He was making sure people had food. Communication was happening. They were doing propaganda and all of these things, right? And Black people still were being hung from trees. People
yeah,
were being murdered in the street then too, right? And of course, you had those movements going on, but our people were self-determined all at the same time. And immediately I was like, what if we feed our neighbors? Like, what if I share
mm,
food? Like, what if
mm,
I share information? What if I get to know my neighbors deeper in this moment? You get what I'm saying? In the midst of all of this or whatnot. And then also connect with other organizers around the world who were doing the same thing, right? And what I also knew and understood in that moment was that people, when COVID hit us, right? A pandemic hit us, you know, me being able to go shut down a commission, pause now, because I can't go into the commission because of COVID, right? But one thing
Mhm.
we always know is people power is the bedrock of our organizing. So immediately I'm like, well, let me go talk to some more people. Let me do this thing and figure out things. And, you know, I also, have been feeding people for a long time before COVID, right? And I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, like I wasn't getting much support on it because people were just like, B, we need to change the system. We need to change the system. And that is true, right?
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, it was like, B, I think in the Bible somewhere or in Christianity, they have this proverb. It's like, you give a man a fish, they eat for a day. You teach a man how to fish, they eat forever. Well, I have a thing is a person need a fish sandwich right now so they can even learn fish. You feel me? So I'm giving the fish sandwiches right now so then we could talk about long-term resiliency, right? And
Mhm.
I know for me as a child, that's even growing up in school, kids can't learn on an empty
Yes.
stomach. Our community
Yeah.
can't learn, can't build on an empty stomach, right? And some of our best movements had these components of self-determination. The Black
Yes.
Panther Party, even the Civil Rights Movement. None of these people did this work, the Reconstruction era, everything. It was never just always focused on contesting power from the state. Fannie Lou Hamer, right? She was in the White House popping her shit, and at the same time teaching people how to farm and do crops and all the things and own land and all that stuff. All that happening simultaneously, right? And I feel like our movement had kind of got away from that. So when people looked at me, they're like, V, you're like this unique thing. And I'm just like, I shouldn't be though. I shouldn't be though. Like every organizer should be a first responder. Every organizer
Right.
should do mutual aid. Every organizer should be talking about resiliency on top of fighting for power within the state, right? We could do both of those things at the same time. And then, I was around when Minister Farrakhan came to Miami in 2015.
Mhm.
And he said 10,000 strong, and he said 10, 10, 15, 10, 10, 15. And that date stuck to me. And I went home and I Googled those numbers. And, it's called a Sankofa model.
Mm.
The Sankofa community is 10, 10, 15, right?
Wow. I
And
did
so,
not know that.
the Freedom Lab, we have our Sankofa model, right? 10% of your time is put into maintaining the building. You also give 10 hours of your time toward another organization to help us all grow in capacity. And we all cover 15% of the overhead to keep this building going, right? And I learned that from listening to the minister, right? And people be like, oh, be you're part of the nation. No, but I'm learning from the nation. I learned from the
Yeah.
nation. Like I could learn from the yoga community in India. I could learn from, the undocumented farm workers. Like I could learn so much from different people because resiliency and community
Yeah.
organizing looks like so many different things. And I just, feel as if like it is time for us to really start focusing on resiliency planning. How do we feed ourselves? How do we get housing for ourselves? How do we do these things in real time when the government is not willing to release the thing, right? We're going to always fight for reparations, right? Give me my coins. I want my great grandma coins and her mama coins too, right? But also with the coins that I have right now, how can I be resourceful to my community in this moment, right? And it's time for us, like I feel like our whole entire movement needs to shift their thinking around it. And that's how I look at organizing. I never looked at organizing just like this campaign to go up to DC or just to fight to get somebody out of prison or whatever, but like how do I fight to change the conditions in the prison so that the people that are there for right now till we fight to get them out, they have sanitary napkins and the
Yes.
women have lotion
Yes.
and toilet paper. You get what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
sometimes to change the system could take so long, right? And to keep people hopeful and things like that, you have to be able to maintain the people in their hope through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. We was all when the Black Lives Matter grassroots crew came and when we came to the Freedom Lab. I mean, we was speechless on that ride back because we was like, wow, we could be doing so much more, and this is what it looks like. And one of the things that we thought was really great that you all canvas. You all canvas. You don't canvas just to get people to vote. You all canvas like, hey, this is what the Freedom Lab is about. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, the Freedom Lab, that's our laboratory for liberation based here in
Yeah.
Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
You're always welcome to come by. We're open most days of the week. It's for almost everybody. I ain't gonna say everybody because the conservatives and the people that are oppressing us, this space is not for you. But for
Right.
everybody else, y'all come on.
Mm-hmm.
100% free to our community. So we do have advocacy organizations, Ladies of Hope Ministry, who does a lot of work around reentry program for women coming home from prison. They also create hope houses, right? Contested power from the state and models of self-determination, right? You have the Black Collective, who does civic engagement and leadership development with Black communities, but we also do Black data. Also, again, contested power, self-determination. The Smile Trust, we are the beneficiaries of this space. We do food and housing security work. We also do climate justice work, and we do national and international grassroots disaster relief and resiliency planning with other grassroots organizations. We have Black Men Bill, who does a lot of work around justice and stuff for Black communities, Black men very specifically, but they also focus a lot on the body and the mind of Black men. We have the Dream Defenders who are in the space. We all know the history of the Dream Defenders doing some great work on the justice side, but a lot of people do not know about the Healing and Justice Center, which is the mobile crisis unit that the Dream Defenders have, which is an alternative to calling 911 when you are facing a mental health crisis, right? That is true self-determination. So you can't
Yeah.
scream deep in the police if you don't have an alternative, right? And they
Yeah.
created one, and it's been going for over 3 years. We also have Doctors Within Borders, led by Dr. Armin Henderson. It is the only all-free clinic and urgent care in our community. It's an actual medical facility on campus. And we have the one and only Village Fridge, who actually feed our community Monday through Saturday, hot food, microwavable meals, and grocery bags for our community 6 days a week. And all that happens in the Freedom Lab. And then we have an ecosystem of organizations that use it. So our parking lot be jumping. We have doulas come to the space. We just got us a shower bus to pass out free showers. I mean, B&B does boxing classes and run clubs. We do physical
Yeah.
stuff, capoeira, yoga, all the things. You come in there, you may see Reiki happening. You may see a membership meeting happening. You may see a music video being recorded in there. You may see all those things happen in the Freedom Lab because it is our place to be in practice of the liberation that we're dreaming of, right?
Yeah.
And we don't always get it right because we don't know what right is. Because I've
Yeah.
never lived in a liberated world before, right?
Yeah.
And I may never live in one. Actually, it's a quote that I just read yesterday. Is that
Mhm.
our elders plant trees that they would never feel the shade of,
Mm.
and
Ooh,
that's
text that
a
to me.
yeah, it's a
Mm.
Haitian proverb. Our elders
Mm.
plant trees that they would never feel the shade of. And I feel as if that's what we're doing at the Freedom Lab. We're building these trees, we're planting these trees that we won't ever feel the shade of. And that's 100% okay. Long as I know that my nieces and nephews or their children can feel the shade of that. Or the children that not even related to me, that may never know my name. I hope they
Yeah.
can feel the shade of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the work of the Freedom Lab. Like we just was wanted to be in the space, and we are a coalition. We work
Yeah.
together, we support each other, we love each other, we defend each other, or whatever. We
Hmm.
have a set space or whatnot. If you ever in Miami and your movement, you need a place to host your meetings. We do allow people to do retreats there and things like that. We do take donations because we need to
Yeah.
keep our church alive. But yeah, it's a labor of love, and I'm not going to lie, when we were looking for space in 2020 and 2021, it was hard because Miami is not one of the most expensive cities amongst DC, amongst, LA
LA.
and
Hmm.
Oakland and New York or whatever. And, it was really hard for us to find a space. I mean, too many times, like I'd be home, like just praying, like, please God, let
Mm.
something up. And when Dr. Armin founded the church, New Covenant Presbyterian Church, and they had this educational building that they had not used since the 90s, and they gave
Mm.
us a chance to build out the Freedom Lab. That was so revolutionary. And I felt like that was building a new relationship between our movement and the faith institutions. Because back
Yeah.
in the day, people always used the church as a facility to
Yeah.
facilitate and orchestrate our movement strategy. And I think we had kind of separated from that. This
Yeah.
model It's us actually doing those things. And now we have churches all around the country calling. Like, how can we get in contact with this church so we can understand the thinking that they did to let y'all come in and use the space? What's the lease look like? What does the money look like? All the things. And also, I'm trying to push more movement organizations. Get with these churches. We know that the Black church own
Yep.
all the land in Black communities.
Yeah.
And the are sitting docile. And they are perfect spaces for
Yeah.
us to be able to come in and do our work, because those spaces were built for them to do community work anyway. That's why they had
Yeah.
community, like the space for the garden, they already had it there. The
Yeah.
kitchen we used, the kitchen was already there. We had to renovate it, but it was already
Yeah.
set to do the work that we needed to do. We just needed to
Wow.
move in and make it our own. So if you're in your community and you want to do something similar, we do not hide this information because it ain't ours to keep. It is the
Yeah.
work of the blueprint of ancestors way before us that
Mm.
us and that we want to share with folks. We want more freedom like ish things happen around the country, around different um countries. Like we had people
Yes.
come from Belgium to check out the Freedom Lab. We had some professors from Japan come. Like people are traveling
Wow.
all over the world to see the Freedom Lab. And I hope that people are coming to learn the lessons and taking it
Yeah.
back home and implementing it. I don't believe in stealing. This is
Yeah.
public information because we need so much of this across our country, across our world on a major scale, especially in this moment.
Yeah. I agree. You know, so you do so much.
Mhm.
And one of the things that makes us human and makes us a woman is the way that we're able to balance everything. How do you balance all of this work in yourself?
You
Or
know,
have you got there yet?
I'm slowly getting there. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, y'all, as a Black woman, I have had a stroke while doing this work. I have been hospitalized several times for doing this work. And not just because of work, it's just because I just overexert myself and things like that. Because you're taught as a Black woman that you're never doing enough, or you're a Black American and you're lazy, or you're a Black woman and you're lazy, or you're just Black and lazy. And I feel like, they've been saying that narrative ever since Black people started working for free. But we'll talk about
Right.
that later.
Right.
And
Mhm.
honestly, I didn't grow up in the culture of self-care. Like I didn't grow up in the culture of balancing, like watching my grandmother work full time. My grandma had worked 3 jobs, right? Raised her children and my mama children. Brilliant woman. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And also,
Mhm.
like my grandma, after she retired, and all of her grandkids were grown. That's when she finally rested. Like that's what I grew up seeing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the work ethic of America. And I am trying to unlearn that.
Yeah.
And now, so like I can be honest and say I haven't been to the hospital in 2 years. So I'm grateful
Yes.
and more focused on my own physical health and mental health,
Yeah.
unlike before. And honestly, I'm not building a world that I can't benefit from.
Mm.
I'm not building a world that I can't benefit from. And I think too often we are living martyrs.
Yeah.
And I was showing up in the work as that, right? And for every other Black woman out here that's in this work and you working nonstop and stuff like that, just remember you building this world for yourself too. You're building these resources for yourself too. You deserve to sleep. You deserve to rest. You deserve to say no. You deserve to set boundaries, all those things, because I was not doing it, y'all, for a very long time. And literally, it was killing me. It was killing me. And I don't want to die. Not
Yeah.
right now,
No,
not
not.
prematurely.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not doing this work to be a martyr. I'm not. I think we constantly working this work in a deficit. I changed my mindset to abundance. And there's enough people in our movement to do all of this work. Sometimes we ain't the person who got to answer the call all
Yeah.
the time. Even in Miami, we have a huge movement community. Why not allow somebody else to do it, right? And sometimes it's hard because you like, oh, people gonna have something to say, or
Yeah.
people gonna forget about the work and all that stuff. None of that's true. None of that's true. That's your fear. That's your anxiety lying to you, right?
Yeah.
You deserve rest. You deserve to build a family. You deserve to find love. You deserve vacations. You
Yeah.
deserve to get paid.
Yeah.
Hello,
Period.
pay me
Yes.
like you pay white men.
Mm-hmm.
And you deserve beauty, you deserve fashion, you deserve all those things. And I had to remind myself of that. I had to remind myself of it all the time. And I have dreams and things that I want to do that's outside of movement work, right? I love Afrofuturism. I like to write. I have to make time for that for me to actually build it out. I like to watch movies. Like those some things I like to do. I really like to do DIY projects in my house. So my house is ever changing. So
Yeah.
those and I make time for that now. At one point I didn't. At one point I didn't. And sometimes I still get in this work knee deep and I put my blinders on and I forget about myself. But I am really trying to stop teaching myself that in amongst my team, incorporating rest. Like one of our pillars is rest, radical rest. So we do take a month off at the end of the year. People be like, oh, people need help. I know they do. They're gonna need help when we
Yeah.
get back in January.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of organizations, so somebody else could pick up the slack for these few weeks while my team rests. We'll be back. And I had to remove the guilt from that. Remove
Yeah.
the guilt from that. And I don't have children of my own, but I have nieces and nephews I love on. I want to spend time with them. I want to see them
Yeah.
grow. And even though they be at the Freedom Lab all the time, but I want to see them outside of that space because then they come in there, they put on their gloves, they working too,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
So like I want them to just be regular kids and let's go to the beach and run around and do things and stuff like that. And we deserve that. So I think honestly, like it's something that I'm still learning. It's hard.
Yeah.
Being a black woman, seeing all the black women around you work just as hard, you know. But I am loving this era where black women are like, actually, mm-mm. And yes, like no, no, that don't feel good to my body. I'm not doing it.
Right. Right.
100% okay for us to feel that way because when people were start calling me Fannie Lou Hamer,
Yeah.
of course I'm 100% proud of that because Fannie Lou Hamer is one of my favorite ancestors. I love everything about the work she did, but what I did not like is the fact that people did not talk about how her body was harmed doing all of that stuff, how she was beat up constantly, and how she died young from bad health. Nobody talks about those things. And our sister deserved better than that. She deserved to live till she was 90 years old. She deserved
Yeah.
to feel rest in her body. She already grew up a sharecropper. You get what I'm saying? She deserved that. And I know, especially in that time, of course, that wasn't even a thought in anybody's mind that a black
Right.
woman could take a
Right.
break. But what I
Yeah.
can learn from my ancestors is that actually I deserve a break. I actually deserve a break from the 436 years my people put in this bitch for free. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I could still do revolutionary work. I could still help my community and be a pillar in my community without emptying my cup.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to
Well,
learn that.
I love that. Well, that's the reason why you are our divine Black woman of the week and of this year. We are honoring you, and I am so happy, sis, that you came on of your busy schedule. You're literally at a conference or retreat or something now. How can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, so my name is Valencia Gunder on all platforms because I'm not creative enough to make up a little cute name or whatever. So listen on all platforms. You can find me on the Smile Trust page. It's the Smile Trust on all platforms. Or the Black Collective is the BLK Collective on all platforms. Or you can find me on the Freedom Lab Miami page on all platforms. Hit me up. And if you're ever in Liberty City, come by the Freedom Lab. We love to see new faces. We love for people to come ask questions. We love for people to be inspired. So come by. You have to schedule a tour now. We do tours. But you have to schedule the tours because my team has been getting on me for just doing them whenever people come. But if you come, reach out. You can find our contact information on our pages. You can reach out, schedule things, schedule time to talk to me or somebody on the team. I have an amazing team of people. So even if I'm not available, all of them are brilliant, amazing. All of the organizations in the Freedom Lab are amazing, doing brilliant work. And we would love for you all to come by and be a part of our work and see our space and feel the love that we feel every day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Make sure you all follow BLM Grassroots and donate, support the work that we're doing, and support all of the Black women that are divine. Thank you. Peace.